Larry, the Winklevosses are putting millions into a super PAC. I think one of the biggest stories in politics now is 2026 is going to test the soft money, dark money, big money capacity of both parties. And you'll see that in House and Senate and governor's races, but you'll see it in full force in this California initiative. I would imagine, because this is a priority for the White House, you're going to see lots of money from that industry, from what do you call that industry?
Big
Crypto.
crypto.
Oh, crypto. But I mean, Elon Musk could his peace offering to Donald Trump could be put 200 million himself in there. So would you expect the Republicans to outspend the Democrats on this?
Yes. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but Kevin McCarthy has announced he's still a very connected and prominent and popular Republican in California, especially in the Central Valley. And he's announced that he is joining that effort and putting together
and Schwarzenegger.
And Schwarzenegger, who remains popular. Yeah. And Dan is right. And I can't even add much to it other than the fact that also recognize that there is an open governor's seat there coming up next year in the midterms in 26. This sets the stage for that. So, yeah, Gavin Newsom might get credit nationally, but it's going to harm the Democrats where they're focusing on this and raising money for this instead of for retaining the governor's seat. I think things are so bad in California. Republicans do have a shot next year if they get the right candidate. And one last thing, I used to live in California for 20 years. I've lived in California. These Democrats right now, the way they're acting in Sacramento, they don't seem confident. I've seen them confident. I've seen them when they're able to just roll over and do whatever they want. This seems like they're following Gavin Newsom into the battle because Gavin Newsom's leading them, but they're not in it.
And they may raise $100 million that they might as well just burn like a draft card or a bra.
That's right.
I mean, because they're going to be outspent. And again,
we're big with the 60s references today. That's impressive.
Is Hazel the 60s or the 70s?
Oh, no, Hazel was the 60s. Black and white. Wasn't Hazel black and white?
I think it might have transitioned. I think it may have been one of those shows that started black and white and went color. But
that would be the 60s.
Mark, can I just add, because you asked Larry about the money. I want to flag for those who haven't seen it that the federal committee reports just came out. And we've been talking about the money discrepancy, and we're talking about on the soft side, so the unlimited checks and the Republicans' advantage that may be 10-1, 6-1. But the DNC is now at a almost 7-1 disadvantage to the RNC. They have about 13 million on hand. The RNC has close to $90 million on hand. Yeah. The DCCC, God bless them, and Susan DeBene, and is slightly above the Republicans.
Right.
But you add up the RNC advantage, the outside advantage, and then you add potentially this net of, let's say, 10 House seats. The road's getting a lot steeper for Democrats to retake the House. And, it's a long shot in the Senate, but there's potentially a path if they get a few more recruits. This money disadvantage is becoming
let's go super inside. Let's go super inside baseball on that, because you've predicted twice here that we might see the greatest fundraiser in the history of the Democratic Party. Mr. Hyperbole himself, Terry McAuliffe, could step in his chair.
Yep.
But let's say, since you're a veteran fundraiser, let's say Chair, what's the guy's name? Ken Martin. Ken Martin. Thank you. Let's say Ken Martin called you and said, Dan, I'm not stepping down. I'm going to be chair. We got to raise more money. What should I do? How could that guy raise more money so the DNC is not shellacked?
Oh boy, there's so much damage for him now. There's two problems. The Democratic Party brand is bad, and he's done nothing to fix that, but only added to it. And his brand is terrible because he has been so weak, and because of David Hogg, and because he's been caught on video complaining. So his challenge is he has to immediately both create his own brand and strengthen it, which would require getting out there and amongst all the battles within the party, trying to establish himself as a firm leader with a vision, and at the same time try to corral and get the support of the Terry McAuliffes, the Jeffries, the Schumers, those looking at 2028. And none of them want to help him because they think he's a dead man walking.
Yeah.
So
I
would tell him, I would, my actually advice to him, Mark, would be, you need to bring in somebody as co-chair who has the respect of donors and let him or her go forth. And you just stay in Washington and just take credit if successful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
If the extent of the problem with the party is fundraising, then sure, Terry McAuliffe will fix that. Although there's always strings attached with McAuliffe money, and those what comes with it. But what's really happening with the Democrats, and you touched on it yesterday with the New York Times report about registration in states that do party affiliation. They're underwater in every single one of those states. Not underwater, but they're being defeated in every other one of those states. The problem is they've made this lurch to the left, and they continue lurching to the left. The problem with Mr. Martin is that he threw down with Mamdani and said, yeah, sure, there's room for him in our big tent. And the center of gravity for the Democrats are moving to the socialist side so far that they're leaving this wide gaping hole for the middle. Republicans are seizing the middle political realm in this country right now because Democrats have abandoned it. And they're willfully doing it by embracing this guy who, how many votes did he get for the Democratic nomination in New York? I mean, it was a primary, and they've decided he won the primary, therefore this is our future. And so they're leaving the middle wide open for Republicans to take.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.